Hi, I'm Harper. Life seemed perfect until someone decided to light a match near the gasoline that was my world. 3 months ago, I was busy preparing for my kids' birthday party. Yes, my kids, because that's exactly what Tommy and Sarah are to me, no matter what my dear sister-in-law Sharon thinks. Mom, can we have chocolate and vanilla cake? Sarah tugged at my apron as I hung streamers across the living room. Her big brown eyes could melt even the hardest heart. Already ordered, Princess, I assured her, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Your brother specifically requested that chocolate volcano cake you two loved last year. Did someone say volcano cake? Tommy's head popped around the corner with impeccable timing. For a 12-year-old, he had a sixth sense for dessert-related conversations. Back to your homework, young man, I said with mock sternness. The party's tomorrow, and I don't want any unfinished assignments hanging over our heads. But Mom. No buts. I promise it'll be worth the wait. Just then, Mark, my husband, walked in and wrapped his arms around me from behind. Need any help, honey? James just called. He's bringing those extra tables we needed. Your brother is a lifesaver, I said, muttering under my breath, unlike some people we know. Mark chuckled, catching my tone. Sharon RSVP'd, didn't she? Oh yes. With her usual passive-aggressive message about how she's so glad to be included in her niece and nephew's special day. I rolled my eyes, recalling her text. Linda, my best friend since college, burst through the front door just then, her arms loaded with party supplies. The party fairy has arrived, she declared dramatically. And guess what? I bring gossip. You'll never guess who I just saw at the mall having a full-on meltdown over a return dress. Please tell me it wasn't Sharon, I groaned. Oh, it was, Linda replied with a grin, complete with demands to speak to the manager. I shouldn't have enjoyed the story as much as I did, but after 5 years of Sharon's snide comments about me planning house with her brother's family, I figured I'd earned a little schadenfreude. The truth was, I met Mark when Tommy and Sarah were 3 and 4. Their biological mother had walked out of their lives without a backward glance. I fell in love with all 3 of them, and 2 years later, we made it official, with both a marriage and an adoption. But Sharon never forgave me for replacing their real mom, as she liked to call it. Never mind that their real mom sent birthday cards 6 months late, if she remembered at all. Earth to Harper, Linda said, waving a hand in front of my face. Where should I put these streamers? Sorry, just thinking about tomorrow, I said, shaking myself out of my thoughts. The kids wanted the game corner over there, and the gift table by the window. It's going to be perfect, Mark said, squeezing my shoulder. The kids are excited. James is handling the entertainment, and Linda's got the decorations covered. And Sharon? Linda raised an eyebrow. Sharon will behave, Mark said firmly, or she'll leave early. These are my kids' birthdays, and I won't let anyone ruin it. If only we'd known what she was planning. But storms often strike when the skies seem clearest. The party was perfect, for a while. Tommy and Sarah were surrounded by friends. The volcano cake erupted right on cue, and even Sharon seemed to be on her best behavior. I should have known it wouldn't last. Present time, Sarah announced, bouncing in her seat. Tommy tried to play it cool, but I saw the excitement in his eyes. They always opened gifts together, taking turns. This one's from Aunt Sharon, Tommy read aloud, reaching for a large envelope. Sharon stepped forward, that dreaded smile spreading across her face. Actually, she said, her voice dripping with false sincerity, I have something special to share first. Children, I think you're old enough to know the truth about your real mother. The room went silent. My heart stopped. She didn't abandon you like I told you, Sharon continued. I've been in touch with her, and she misses you both so much. She even has pictures to prove it. She pulled out a stack of photos, and I watched in horror as Tommy and Sarah's faces shifted from confusion to shock. Sarah's lip trembled. That's enough, Mark's voice boomed, cutting through the silence. Sharon outside. Now. They deserve to know, Sharon shot back. Harper's been playing pretend mom long enough. Linda quickly ushered the other kids into another room, while James stepped between Sharon and my children. But Mom, Tommy's voice cracked, tears pooling in his eyes. You said she left us. She did, sweetheart, I said gently, my own voice shaking. Your aunt isn't. I have proof. Sharon interrupted, waving a stack of papers, letters, and photos triumphantly. She writes to me about them all the time. Mark's hand shot out, gripping Sharon's arm as he practically dragged her toward the door. How dare you, at their birthday party? Get out! They're not your children. Sharon shrieked, her face red with fury as Mark pushed her outside. They'll never be yours. Sarah burst into tears and bolted upstairs. Tommy sat frozen, staring at the scattered photos on the floor. Pictures I'd never seen before of a woman who had walked out of their lives 8 years ago. Tommy, I reached for him, but he flinched away. Is it true? He asked, his voice trembling. Have you been lying? No, baby, I whispered, fighting back tears. I've never lied to you. Your birth mother did leave, but that doesn't change. I want to be alone. He stood abruptly and followed his sister upstairs, leaving me alone in the wreckage, a room filled with half-opened presents, torn streamers, and the hushed whispers of concerned parents. Linda wrapped her arms around me as James helped Mark deal with Sharon outside. Through the window, I could hear the heated exchange. She's been writing to them this whole time. Mark's voice cracked with disbelief. They deserve to know. Sharon shouted back. You can't keep playing happy family forever. The party dissolved after that. Parents hurried their children out with awkward apologies, leaving me in a house that felt unbearably empty despite the lingering decorations. Upstairs, the muffled sound of my children crying cut through me like a knife. Something inside me hardened. Sharon hadn't just ruined a party, she tried to destroy my family. And for that, there would be consequences. 2 weeks later, I sat at Linda's kitchen table, surrounded by a mountain of evidence. Printouts of Sharon's social media history, email threads, and screenshots cluttered the space. Look at this, Linda said, pointing to a post from 3 years ago. She's been tagging their birth mother in comments since before your adoption was finalized. My hands shook as I sifted through the messages. 8 years of calculated manipulation unraveled before me. James walked in carrying a thick folder. You need to see this, he said grimly. I found Sharon's old laptop while cleaning Mom's attic. He spread out emails showing Sharon's desperate attempts to locate the kid's birth mother. She hired a private investigator 2 months before your wedding, James continued. She's been planning this for years. My phone buzzed. Another message from Sharon in the family group chat. I only told them the truth. Stop keeping them from their mother. Don't respond, Linda warned, but James was already dialing. Sharon enough, he snapped. You want the truth. Here it is. You've been jealous of Harper since day one. Remember when you tried to set Mark up with your coworker at Christmas? That was different. Sharon protested. I was just trying to. To what? Break up a happy family. James interrupted. Those kids were finally healing. I tuned out their argument, my attention drawn to an email thread on the laptop. Sharon had found the kid's birth mother 6 months ago. The response made my blood boil. Please stop contacting me. I signed away my rights for a reason. I don't want to be involved. But Sharon hadn't stopped. She'd kept pushing. The kids were at their first therapy session with Dr. Phillips after Tommy refused to come down for dinner 3 days in a row. Mark called during the session. Harper, his voice was heavy. Tommy talked today. He asked about the adoption papers. Wants to see them. Of course, I said, my throat tight. Is Sarah okay? She asked if she has to call you Mom anymore. Mark said, his voice cracking. And Sharon's outside the therapist's office. She says she has more evidence to share. I grabbed my keys, but James stopped me. I got this. Linda, show her what we found about the restraining order. What restraining order? I asked, startled. Linda pulled up another document, from her ex-husband. Apparently, Sharon's done this before, tried to turn his kids against their stepmom. It's all part of a pattern. Everything clicked into place. This wasn't just about me or my kids. This was Sharon's crusade against any woman who dared to love children that weren't biologically theirs. My phone chimed again. Another message from Sharon. You'll never be their real mother. I'll make sure they know everything. I stared at the growing pile of evidence, feeling a cold smile spread across my face. No, Sharon. They're going to know everything about you. Sunday dinner at Mark's parents' house was tense. Sharon arrived with her usual smug confidence, which faltered when she saw the laptop and projector set up in the living room. What's this? She asked, her voice uncertain. Sit down, Sharon, Mark's father said, his tone leaving no room for argument. We've seen everything, James said, clicking through the presentation. Emails, social media posts, the restraining order, her persistent messages to the kid's birth mother, 8 years of manipulation laid bare. Fats. Those are private. Sharon lunged for the laptop. Like my children's therapy sessions were private before you followed them there? I said, my voice steady and cold. I was protecting them, I said firmly. Mark's mother held up a printed email, the one from Julie, the kid's birth mother. From what? A woman who repeatedly told you to stop contacting her. Sharon's face twisted with defiance. She changed her mind. She wants. No, I don't. A new voice came from the doorway, and the entire room turned. James had done what Sharon never could. He'd actually contacted Julie. She stood there, looking uncomfortable but determined. I chose to leave. I signed away my rights. These children have a mother. Her name is Harper. Sharon went pale. But you said. I never said anything to you, Julie interrupted, her tone sharp. You invented this entire narrative. Julie turned to me, her expression softening. I'm so sorry for all of this. You've given them everything I couldn't. From the staircase, Tommy and Sarah slowly came into view. Their eyes were wide with curiosity and uncertainty. Is it true? Tommy asked Julie, his voice small. You really didn't want to come back. No, I didn't, Julie said gently. But you have a mom who loves you more than anything. Don't let anyone tell you differently. Sarah walked straight to me, wrapping her arms tightly around my waist. We know who our mom is, she whispered. Sharon started to cry. I was trying to help. The children needed. The only thing these children needed was for you to leave them alone, Mark's father said, his voice stern. Until you get professional help, you're not welcome at family events. But they're my family too. Sharon wailed. Not anymore, Mark said firmly. Get help, Sharon. Real help. 3 months later, we celebrated the kid's half-birthday, a new tradition born out of the chaos. Tommy hung his latest art project on the fridge, a colorful family portrait, while Sarah worked on her speech for Adoption Awareness Day at school. Proud to tell her story, Mark said, watching her from the kitchen. Sharon's social circle had crumbled after the truth came out. Her church group, the school board she tried to influence, even her workplace, none of them wanted anything to do with someone who had traumatized children for her own agenda. Mom, Sarah called. Can you help me practice my speech? Coming, sweetheart, I replied. She beamed as I entered the room. It's about how family is about love, not blood. Tommy helped me write it. I pulled them both into a hug, feeling the strength of our bond. It was stronger now, tested and tempered by everything we'd endured. Later that evening, Linda and James came over for our weekly dinner with Mark's parents. Julie had sent a thoughtful card, affirming the kids' choice to embrace their adoptive family fully. As for Sharon, last we heard, she'd moved to another state. Sometimes healing means letting go, not just for us, but for her too. But this story isn't about Sharon anymore. It's about a family that chose each other, weathered the storm, and came out stronger.